Hi everyone, my name is Maiv Mos. I just want to say Happy New Year or Happy Hmong New Year. We celebrate Hmong New Year here in the Twin Cities 3 days after, or 3 days total, but after Thanksgiving. And this year it's going to be virtual. And Hmong New Year is usually celebrated around the harvest season, so it's different throughout the United States and different in various parts of the world where there's a population of Hmong folks. This is not a traditional Hmong meal, but if you attend the Hmong New Year, you're more likely to find this meal there. And it's made as like a side dish, and it's called Laab or Hmong Laab, but there's like different variation. There's like Lao, or it's like, I call it Laab, but you can call it Laab, or some people call it Laab. But it's pretty much sort of like a meat dish salad that has like a little bit of herbs and chili pepper. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to make that. So you can use any type of meat you want. Ground pork is popular. Today I'm using ground turkey. I've seen it done with like ground chicken, seen it done with like fish. You can use any type of protein that you want and you like. So this is a pound of ground turkey. We're gonna add that to our pan. And I'm just gonna turn this on medium heat. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of water to it. Okay, and then we're just gonna let that cook. And you wanna cook it thoroughly. And then I'm gonna cut some shallots. For the shallots, you wanna cut it really, really thin because you're not gonna cook it. The only thing that's being cooked is the meat or the protein of your choice. And once that's done, you wanna set that aside, cool it off, and then you add all the other ingredients into it. So with this, you can find most of this stuff to make this specific recipe here at Sewer Co-op. The only ingredients that you may not find is rice powder. We don't have rice powder here, so you can either one, make your own, and you can just buy white rice or jasmine rice, and you can toast it, and then you'll have to like grind it up either in a blender or a mortar and pestle. Or you can go to the Asian grocery store and buy rice powder. And rice powder is the key ingredients to this recipe. And then just make sure that you want the ground meat to be in fine chunks and not in big chunks. So just make sure you separate them. Because when you're done cooking this, you're gonna have to transfer it into another bowl and let it cool down. And it's gonna become sort of like a meat salad. So you don't want big chunks. And I'm just gonna prep everything else. I'm gonna cut some green onions, and really you only want the green part of the green onions. So I'm gonna cut 2 of that. And again, you wanna cut it really finely. Then you just need a big mixing bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and cut some limes in preparation for this. So you'll need like 1 or 2 limes. I think I'm gonna use 2. I'm gonna start with 1 and I'll taste it and see if it needs more. So this is done cooking. And you can see here, I don't have a lot of excess water, but sometimes, like I know that I've cooked it with chicken before, and sometimes it has excess water. Or if you do it with pork, there's like extra grease from the fat, so you can drain that. And you don't want your meat to be saturated with fluid, otherwise you're gonna have, really watery lard, and that's not gonna taste good. All right, so I drained all the excess water off of the ground turkey. For a minute, I thought it was ground chicken, but it's ground turkey. And now I'm gonna add rice powder. There's different variation that you can find at the Asian grocery store, but make sure you get like the roasted rice powder by itself only. Sometimes they make it with like, they add other ingredients like black pepper, a bunch of other stuff, but you can look in the back and it's just toasted rice powder. For this, we're going to need, you know, like I think it kind of just depends. You can put like a tablespoon in there, but usually I eyeball it, and then you taste as you go. How I learned how to cook is just we don't really measure, you just kind of taste as you go. But I would say you put like a tablespoon in here. And then I'm gonna mix that thoroughly. And when you're mixing it, you can start to smell the rice powder. And I'm gonna add a little more. Then you just add all the other ingredients in there and you mix it up. So we have shallots, green onions, there's mint. I'm gonna leave that as the last step. I like my mint at the very end so they don't get wilty since the meat is still a little warm. And then we have limes. Then we're gonna add fish sauce in there and super hot dry chili pepper. You can put any chili pepper you want. I like mine a little spicy. And it's good to kind of break these off so they're individual slices. Okay. Then put some of that. And then, you know, and the chili pepper is to taste too. So if you don't want your larb to be spicy, you can just start with like a tablespoon or so. And then you want like half a tablespoon of fish sauce. And you can even do this recipe with tofu too. I did it with tofu, and it just tastes like chicken. For those of you who don't eat meat, that's a good alternative. And I'm just gonna taste it and see if I need a little more of anything. Okay, I think I'm gonna add half a lime. And maybe a little more, like another half teaspoon of fish sauce. And then mint leaves. And the mint leaves give it a little bit of a freshness. And that's it. And then we usually eat this as like a side dish, or you add it. You can have it with rice as always. Sometimes this is more kind of like a finger food, and you can eat it with lettuce and make it like a lettuce wrap.